All right, let's move on to the topic of today. Disney back at 2014 and 2020 levels. Chris, you said you wanted to talk about it yesterday. Any updated thoughts on the company? Still bullish? Where do you think Disney's going?
Yeah, no, I'm still bullish, man. I just
He's already sold
honestly,
out, fellas.
I just think a lot of people are undervaluing this company significantly.
You're still in it, right? I just want to make
Especially,
sure.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm heavily in it. Um, the thing with Disney right now is that a lot of people are not giving a lot of appreciation because there's a lot of bearish sentiment around the company. But if you look at the numbers, like the true numbers, they're rapidly improving and they're moving in the right direction. The business also is starting to transform and actually moving once again in the right direction. Disney's problem is not making money. It's just keeping money. All right. The entire industry is going through this transformation of linear to DTC, and that's the whole thing with Disney. A lot of people are attributing it to the going broke thing, and to a certain degree, I'm sure that that's actually impacted Disney. But if you look at the revenues are climbing. Okay, it's just their profitability that's been a problem, and the reason why their profitability is a problem is because they spent a lot on content. Everyone did. During the last 3 years, everyone with the streaming wars, everyone was coming up with their own streaming app. And because of that, they kind of destroyed their traditional business, which was the linear, which was high margin revenue that they just got for, being part of the cable package. But what's happening right now is that everyone is raising prices. And because everyone is raising prices, profitability will come back to the sector. The strong companies will survive. A lot of them are consolidating right now. Disney has IP that just goes back an entire century, and they can monetize it very easily in a lot of different avenues. And I think Disney's very undervalued for what the current price is. An example
Can I
on
ask
Friday.
one thing?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I want you to continue. I am listening, but can
Yeah.
you do a poll? Who's using, forget about, are you using Netflix or are you using Disney? I'm just curious in our audience.
Mhm.
I'm just curious, what is the stat of people who
I think
prefer
the better
one to the
question is
other?
not Netflix or Disney. The better question is how many times you use Disney Plus a week.
Sure,
I'll
do that one.
Yeah.
1,
And
2, 5
now,
times.
here's a
0,
question though.
5, 10, greater than 20, whatever.
Here's a question. What about ESPN Plus? What about Hulu? What about Hulu Live?
Sure,
All
add
of those
those in.
things.
No, that's fine.
All
Add
of
them
those
in.
things are Disney.
So put Hulu and put ESPN. I think that's a fair thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a small sampling. I'm just curious who's doing it because I do still pay for Disney Plus, by the way, but I have not used it for months. But I paid for the year, so I'm obviously. So what's the point?
I watch Halloween Town every October. That's what I use it for.
And it's not even me because I'm not interested in The Mandalorian season 6. I'm just not interested in that anymore. But the kids, this was for the kids, and they never put it on. It's kind of crazy. So I don't know if anybody else is experiencing that, where they're just not interested in seeing the next Mandalorian and the next Star Wars and whatever. I don't know.
We got 71% say 0, 17% 5, 3% 10, 9%.
We got to let it run a little bit. But okay, go ahead, Chris. Continue, please.
Yeah. So what it is Disney has a lot of IP, and right now with the whole Spectrum thing, I was watching on Twitter to see what the reaction was going to be. So basically, Disney came to Spectrum, their contract was up, and said, "Look, you got to pay us a lot more in order to carry our channels."
Spectrum, right? For those that don't know, is the second largest provider of cable television in the United States.
It wasn't, was it Charter Communication? It was Spectrum, right? I think they're the same company.
I think they're the same thing.
Yeah.
Might be wrong,
but basically, Disney said we want more money, and Spectrum said no, or Charter said no, and so Disney said, okay, we'll pull our services. So what does all these people do? They got pissed off at Spectrum and said, screw this shit. We'll all go to Hulu Live, or we'll go to YouTube TV. Either way, Disney is going to make money. If you go to YouTube TV pays these affiliation fees to Disney. By the way, Disney had the same thing happen about a year ago, where they told YouTube TV, hey, we want more money. And YouTube TV eventually said, yeah, you know what? We kind of need ESPN. We need all these things. So yes, they relented, paid Disney more. Disney did the same exact thing now with Spectrum and told them, hey, we want more money. Spectrum said, no, we're going to play hardball. So now a third, I think even half the channels that Spectrum has are off. And right in the middle of college football, U.S.
In the
Open,
US Open too,
college
yeah.
football weekends are back. NFL season is back. And so guess what everyone is doing? They're not saying, oh, yeah, you know what? I agree with Spectrum. Let me just sit in back. No, everyone's saying, fuck this. I'm canceling Spectrum, going to YouTube TV, or I'm going to Fubo TV, or I'm going to Hulu. And by the way, Hulu monetizes way higher for Disney than any of the other affiliations. Why? Because they control all the revenue from Hulu's commercial sales, plus the subscription revenue that comes in from Hulu as well. And Disney is a 66% owner, with the other 33% that they're going to buy up from Comcast by the end of this year through their arbitration. So as a growth driver, what I'm seeing is a lot of people cutting cords. And this is a question that I have for you and I have for the chat. All right. Number one, who's your internet service provider? Start with you, Amit. Who's your internet service provider?
Optimum.
Optimum. Yeah.
Okay. So both of you guys are using cable, like physical cable corded into a router, Optimum, right? Have you guys considered 5G yet? 5G home Wi-Fi?
I've considered Starlink actually, but I haven't done it.
No,
I would seriously consider 5G home internet. At first, I was like, man,
How do you get it?
over.
Who's giving it?
Verizon, T-Mobile. Verizon does 1 gigabit per 1 gigabit. What is that thing called? Transfer speeds. And
up and down, both up and down, or
let me double check.
Probably not up, right?
No. It's fast, man. Like I've been using the T-Mobile.
I doubt it. I mean,
and
that's a lot of data.
Cheap. Hold on. 5G.
People are telling me to get Ethernet, so I don't even know if like 5G would be worth it.
So literally $35 a month right here. Check availability, and then $45 if you want the plus. Let's see what the thing is. And literally all it is just a router that you plug in, and I mean a box that you plug in. It's connected to the 5G network, and it's unlimited, no data, no contracts, nothing. And let me just check the up and down speed. 1 second.
It's not the worst deal.
Right here, let's see.
Well, it's cheaper than cable for sure. I'm
cable.
paying for a gigabit per second though. I'm paying $89, I think, or something like that.
Verizon definitely has gigabit service. Hold on, Verizon.
I think you're talking about FiOS service is gigabit. I don't think 5G is yet.
No, it is. It is. Hold on. One.
Seems like a lot of people in the chat use Fubo or have Fubo stock because a bunch of people were saying.
Yeah,
that's where they went.
Let's see. Can get up to speeds of about 1 megabit per, which is a gig right here.
Yeah,
for home internet. Right here, download and 75 upload. 75 megabits upload.
You know what? Me and Vitaly couldn't get it because we're in Jersey, and I don't know about you, Vitaly, but there's no FiOS around my area, so that's why we had to go with.
No, this is not FiOS.
This isn't FiOS. This is 5G. So,
that goes anywhere, no matter what.
Yeah, if you have a 5G cell signal around you, I actually don't have a good cell signal, so it wouldn't work for me. But
I would check.
Whoever has one,
I would check. I'll show you guys mine. Like right now, this is what I'm using, like Wi-Fi wise, the speed, and this is with me streaming right now. You know.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
A little slow, but not bad.
Yeah. Hey, it's only $30 a month, man.
That's true.
Cheap.
That's
you know.
So you think what's the thing that takes Disney back from like 80 to 100? What is that thing that gets the market to be like, holy shit?
A lot of people cutting traditional cable out completely, going to 5G home internet and utilizing that to watch TV and everything else. So now what happens is the $35 or $45 for the home internet plus another, $60 or $70 for Hulu Live and then if you do the bundle with Disney, you get, with Hulu Live, you get ESPN Plus, you get Disney Plus for free. So it's almost like you're in the Disney ecosystem. And so many people are switching to that. So it's almost like a bundled system.
So you're betting on content. At the end of the day, you're betting their content will be good enough to win.
Yeah,
I think it has to be a bet on content.
Look at that, $6 per month in Tokyo for 1 gigabit per second. Well, I'm paying 90 here. Yeah, America's fucked up in multiple ways in terms of internet. Absolutely.
Well, that's the other thing too. If you look around the world, the internet speeds are rising really fast. The cost is really low, which means as a streaming service, I'm sure that people in India watch Disney. I'm sure that people in Japan watch Disney, South Korea watch Disney. Everywhere in the world, more and more people are getting onto broadband, which means that that's a total addressable market is growing significantly versus how many people have cable internet, or cable TV. Like, I'm sure if you go to like some of the more remote parts of like the country, you have to either rely on satellite. Like, you guys ever heard of HughesNet?
No.
If you want slow satellite internet, that was slow satellite
HughesNet.
internet. But if you lived in like the middle of nowhere, dude, that's all you had an option for. With 5G, the infrastructure is really getting built out.
So
Yeah.
I'm actually more bullish apparently than Chris on Disney, because I don't think anything has to happen. I think the market conditions improve a little bit, or Disney does one good thing. I think it could be $100 stock. It doesn't mean I'm buying it. I just think that it's been completely sold off and thrown out. And it's at 5-year lows now, almost hitting 10-year lows.
Nice.
At 150 billion market cap.
I think it's hitting 10-year lows.
They paid 70 billion for just the Fox network. All right, the Fox assets. They paid 70 billion for it. Just think about that right now.
At the end of the day, look, they do own a lot of valuable properties, and if they figure out one good way to monetize I'm not even a bull on Disney, but this is just obvious. If they could figure out one good piece of news that comes out, I think we're back at $100. I see a trade here, just like you're saying. I don't think they need 5G to even work out. This has nothing to do with their being at $100.
That was just one part of the thesis. The other thing is they're expecting to return back to the dividend by the end of this year.
And that's a good piece of news, by the way. Just that alone can make it pump.
They've been paying dividends for like ever.
What's
this
the
was
yield?
like
until COVID, basically.
It'll probably be very low initially because they're still getting over the COVID lows. Because basically, remember, Disney's parks, theme parks, cruises, everything was shut during COVID, right? Only now have they really restarted. And by the way, Disney has parks outside the US as well. They have Disney Shanghai, Disney Hong Kong, Disney Tokyo, Disney Europe, which is in France. They have Disney World, Disneyland. I think on a quarterly basis, they still generate a shit ton of money just from their parks, man. So go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I wanted to say, people are saying, oh, this sounds tempting, blah, blah, blah. And, I have a certain amount of money that I can use. So this is why I'm not buying a bunch of companies that I think are very attractive, by the way. And Disney, in terms of value play, seems attractive, but the time value of money and the use of it, I could only use so much of it to get what I want for the long term. And so let's say I do buy Disney and I'm stuck in a position like Disney, which I don't want to be in. But let's say I saw a trade and I wanted to wait to $100, like TFC for AMIT. I wanted to wait for some amount. And then what happens is there's opportunity cost for something I do want that has been tanking, or something better, like Google even. Forget about Enphase. Google. I want more Google. I'd rather have that. Yeah. So the problem is, while I'm waiting for Disney to go to 100, I could be missing out on so many other things that I actually have real conviction in. So that's my issue with Disney. It was never the fact that there's no value in it,
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. If I were to pick between, if you told me with a gun to my head, Google or Disney, I would tell you Google is the easier one. Like, you can't.
Easier win. Yeah.
What about Disney or Enphase?
That's idiotic.
Disney.
Disney over Enphase?
Yeah.
Yo, Chris Patel is coming around, by the way. He is he getting in the chat. I remember in our private chat, you've admitted something about
there are some spread prices that are just getting way too attractive on a recovery.
You would really pick the mouse over 4% solar penetration over the next 5 years. That's what you
well, it's more to do with
5 years. That's your timeline.
No. It's more to do with interest rates. The reason why is because
the mouse has no interest rates.
Interest rates are not going to impact Disney like on the other way that they're going.
Rates are coming down, Chris. Why is this?
No, but that's what I'm trying to tell you. That rates coming down does not impact Disney that much. Like, yeah, it'll be nice. More people have a little bit of cash, but the difference is with a capital heavy cost of solar. If the credit market improves and the cost of that capital comes down, more people are likely to get solar, right?
So Enphase over Disney if rates come down.
Are we back on solar again?
I didn't even start it by.
No. Hold on. Disney would take Disney over Enphase, but if rates are coming down, why wouldn't you pick Enphase over Disney?
Well, because Disney is very, very undervalued right now. I'm just giving you a rebuttal because you said the interest rates are coming down. So I'm just giving you the bull case for Enphase right now. The bull case for Enphase is, we have probably hit peak inflation. We're likely to see disinflation and maybe even deflation. And if that happens, then the Fed is not going to have any choice but to start cutting rates. And if they start cutting rates, all the people that were solar holdouts because it became too expensive to buy, to finance at 8, 9, 10%, if they can finance it at 4, 5, and 6, the growth rate in solar adoption will reaccelerate, and then the price appreciation for Enphase will come back. So there is a play to be made in Enphase, especially on the option side, but that all hinges on where we are with the economy and how fast is the Fed going to flip to the other side.
Well, the good news about the options play that you're saying, September or so, I forgot, I don't know what day exactly, but 2026 options were coming out. And if Enphase is still in the toilet, I'm going to be picking some of those up too.
I would say to you and to everyone, the first 30 days, do not touch a single LEAP contract for 2026. And the reason why is very simple. Is because the pricing on those things are going to be fucking monstrous. So you do not want to be in a position where you're trying to buy the volatility when things first come out. Give yourself time, let the market adjust, and then you can buy nice and slow.
I do want to point out one thing. I don't know the exact date, but I think it's in October something. The beginning of October is when the third quarter gets announced. So if it's a bad quarter and guidance or Q4 is still bad because of rates, then obviously we're going down. It's tanking. But if Badri did sandbag us in Q2 and basically they beat anything and guide a little bit higher, I think we've hit the bottom. So it is a play.
I think he gave bad guidance for Q3.
He gave bad guidance, but
500 million, right? Revenue to expect.
He could be sandbagging. We don't know yet. We're going to find out in.
You can kind of tell when they're sandbagging. I think he was being honest. I mean, he seems like a straight shooter, right? So I don't think he's going to bullshit. And he has been guilty of sandbagging, but it didn't seem like that this last quarter. It seemed like
maybe,
but we got caught. We got caught with overproduction. I think we were discussing this on Twitter that they're moving some of that production overseas where they do see growth. They're trying to focus more on batteries, but he was trying to be realistic about Q3 and Q4, which means you have time. Like you have time. I mean, I don't know. Like their peak price was $399, right? So we're looking at $400. So you're looking at a point. $399 was
$380.
No, $399 was the absolute all-time high.
What are you talking about? No, $340.
Look on TradingView.
It wicked up.
No, I was there. I sold at $340. It was around $340. I was there.
What I'm saying,
I lived it.
I'm saying,
I was selling between $270 and $340, and I hit one of the little sells at $340. Absolutely.
No, Vitaly's right. It was $336. December 2nd.
There you go. Something like
that. The question here is how much lag is there going to be between rates being cut and demand spiking, right? Because remember, things are not necessarily all just like, oh, interest rate came down a quarter basis point, everyone's going to get solar. Like, no, there's going to be a point. Yeah, there's going to be a point.
But what happens is as soon as that happens, the market's not going to be like, oh, let's tank Enphase. That's not what they're going to say. They're going to say, this is turning around. Okay, so we've hit the bottom. That's all I'm saying. That when that happens, your event, that's not a time to be like waiting longer. That's a time to be like buying. You know what I'm saying?